What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Credit Plug channel where we talk about how to build credit, how to establish relationships with banks and financial institutions, and most importantly, how to get you access to high limit credit funding. If that's something you like to listen to, we welcome you to subscribe. Otherwise, you can support our channel if you like, share, comment down below. It helps our content get out, and we greatly appreciate the support. So, one of the biggest questions a lot of consumers have when applying for credit is what credit score do you need in order to get approved? First, you have to understand the different credit scores. You have your FICO scores and you have your Vantage scores. So there's different models with Vantage. You have Vantage 3.0, 4.0. There may be some other versions. And then you have FICO. There's over 32 different FICO scores. You have your FICO 8, which is the most widely used version. You have FICO 9, FICO 10, you have your mortgage score, your bank card score, your auto score. So there's different versions of your FICO score, and different models feed from different credit bureaus. So you have your FICO 8, for example, you have your Experian FICO 8, your Equifax FICO 8, your TransUnion FICO 8. Then you have your mortgage score. You have your FICO 5 Equifax, you have your FICO 4 TransUnion, you have your FICO 2 Experian. So there's a lot of different FICO scores. Now, when a lot of people are referring to their credit score, because Credit Karma is one of the most widely used credit monitoring service, when people are checking their Credit Karma, sometimes tend to believe that that's the credit score that's being used when they apply for credit. But that's not entirely true because Vantage scores are not used in any lending decisions. Vantage score is really only used in a lot of these credit monitoring services. So, to a certain degree, I'm not going to say it's useless because it is good to kind of get a gauge of where your credit is, but Credit Karma is not accurate in terms of letting you know, okay, when you apply at this particular institution, what your credit score actually is. Well, first you have to understand which scoring model and from what bureau that particular institution pulls from. Then what you want to do is go into myfico.com and they'll give you all of your FICO. So you could literally know which credit score that institution is going to use when you apply for a credit product. So for today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the different components of the FICO score and what you need to do in order to maximize your credit score. So let's go jump over real quick and I'll walk through the different components. All right, so here we have the different FICO credit score factors. Now, these are the factors that make up your FICO credit score. You have utilization, which is 30%. On-time payments, 17.5, derogatory marks, 17.5. And sometimes you might see on-time payments and derogatory marks grouped together as payment history, which together would equal 35%, which would be the biggest component of your credit score. So these are kind of related, or not kind of related, they are directly related because, if you have any derogatory marks, that means that you have some negative payment history. And then on-time payments, that's just, paying your bills on time, paying your debt obligations on time. Next up, we have average age. So this is the average age of accounts. And then you have total accounts and credit inquiries. And then I know a lot of times people are so concerned about credit inquiries. Yes, you want to limit your inquiries as much as possible. But as you can see, inquiries is one of the lowest factors of your credit score. So don't get too boggled down with, the number of inquiries. It's only 10% of your credit and it's just a temporary thing. You can get inquiries removed. Crown Credit Pro is a great company to use to get inquiries removed. But at the end of the day, don't be too caught up with inquiries, right? You really want to focus on this on-time payment and derogatory marks because these are the things that are going to be a little bit harder to manipulate once you've already, had derogatory marks or late payments. Average age of accounts, that's one thing you really can't control. I mean, you can add authorized users, but it's something you're going to have to go through, right? Because credit age is something that you cannot just skip over, right? The total number of accounts, that's something that you can control, right? And as you can see, the more accounts, it's better. So you have the different credit qualities: excellent, good, fair, poor, and very poor. So this really lets you know where you want to be at to maximize each of these different categories. So with utilization, one of the common things you hear is under 30%. Yes, you want to be under 30% because you're either going to land in the good or excellent category, but to really maximize, you want to be at 9% or lower. And actually, I'm going to show you why on the next slide, why you don't want to be at 0%. On-time payments, this is pretty self-explanatory. As you can see, when you go from 100 to 99, that drops from excellent to good. And then from 99 to 98, you go from good to fair. So you could see, even with a 97% on-time payment percentage, it's considered poor. Even one late payment makes a huge deal when it comes to your credit. That's why you don't want to have any late payments whatsoever, because it can really set you back. Derogatory marks, right? You're going to want to have zero. The more you have, the less it's going to be. Average age, as I mentioned, so this 9+ means that your average age of accounts across all of your accounts is 9 years or greater. So this is one of the things, as I mentioned, it's kind of hard to control. So to maximize that, you're going to have credit for an extended time, a minimum of 9 years to maximize that category. You can add authorized users, but you really want to make sure that it's primary accounts, because some of these credit scoring models will discount the AUs anyway. So that's why opening accounts early and leaving them open, letting them revolve, even if it's something you may not use, just keeping those accounts open, that's going to help your age. Total number of accounts. Now, and this is very important. The more accounts you have, that means the more data that you have. So opening up accounts, yes, in the short run, it's going to lower your average age, but over the long run, it's going to strengthen your profile, because you have more data points for lenders to make decisions based off of. So you want to have as many accounts as you can reasonably manage, right? You don't want to go overboard, but as you can see here, 21 accounts or more, that's going to put you in the excellent category. And then in terms of inquiries, right, 0 inquiries is excellent. And then, 1 or 2, but you could still get approved, because as I mentioned, inquiries is the smallest proportion of your credit score. So I wouldn't focus too much on inquiries, but yeah, you want to limit inquiries in a short time window. That's why we also recommend gardening. And you can also work on getting inquiries removed that don't result in any accounts. So you can hit up Crown Credit Pro. They're excellent at doing inquiries, helping you with if you have derogatory accounts and anything like that. So you could definitely check them out. Link in the description. But let's jump over to the next screen real quick, and I'll walk through some other important details that you should be aware of. All right, so here we have a sample FICO scorecard. It has the different categories of the FICO credit score, a description of the category, and then the attributes. So the attributes is basically where your credit will fall in these particular categories, and then the points are the number of points assigned based on that attribute and what category you fall in. So like, these points correspond to the different levels of the particular attributes. So for example, here we have payment history. So if you have no public records, you're going to get the maximum 75 points for this category. Now, let's say you have a late payment, and this 0 to 5 months basically is, how recent was that late payment. So if it was a recent late payment within the past 6 months, so you're going to get the least amount of points, 10. And as you can see, as the time between that, delinquency, derogatory, late payment, as the age between that increases, then it has less of a negative impact. So the points go up as the time between the late payment, gets longer, right? So after 2 years or more, you get 55 points towards that. So it's not affecting you as time goes on. But as you can see, regardless of how long it's on your report, as long as it's on your report, you're not going to get the maximum value, right? You're never going to get 75 points in this category if you have any derogatory items on your credit. That's why it's so critical that you get that taken care of, address the derogatories, because that's going to give you a much larger bump. And remember, payment history is one of the biggest factors of your credit. So you're going to want to maximize that by having no late payments, 0 derogatory. So that's just something to keep in mind. Next up, we have outstanding debt. Now, this has to do more with utilization, the average balance on revolving trade. So check this out, and this is something you want to pay attention to. So you see right here, no revolving trades. That means you have no revolving credit. So you get 30 points. This is 0. That means you have revolving trades, but your utilization is 0. So you get 55 points. Now look at this. from $1 to $99. So that means your average balance is between $1 and $99. You get 65 points. So see how you're maximizing this category by by having an average balance. So meaning that if all of your accounts are zeroed out, you're not maximizing your credit. You're going to want to have a balance on one of those accounts. And it's a fine line you have to walk, because you don't want a balance on every account. You're going to want to have some accounts zeroed out, but at least maybe one, depending on the number of accounts. So if you have like 10 accounts, you might have 8 of those accounts zeroed out and 2 of them with a balance between $1 and $99. You're going to maximize the FICO credit score more than if you were just to zero out the balance. So, and this just goes to show some of the misconceptions that go out there. Just having a zero balance, you're not, even though it's good to don't carry a balance, to maximize the FICO credit score, you're going to want to show that you're using the credit. So that's just something to keep in mind. Then, as you can see, as your balances go up, the number of points go down. Now you see here with credit length history, this is something you might want to pay attention to. To get the 75 points, having an average age of 48 months or longer, you're really going to be maximizing that particular category. Pursuit of new credit, inquiries in the last 6 months, 0. The more inquiries, then the scores go down. But remember, these categories are not weighted as much as these categories over here, and that's why it's split up. Credit length history, that's something that you really can't control. You just want to have your accounts open. Pursuit of new credit, yeah, that's something you can control in the short term. And then credit mix, the number of bank card trade lines. So the more trade lines you have, the better your credit mix is going to be. So I just wanted to share this with you. I hope this was helpful. Let me know your comments, questions in the comment section down below. Till next time, take it easy, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.